Hey, good morning, everyone. Tim here at mine and Carolyn's house, sitting out on the deck, my usual spot here. So again, I want to welcome you back to our home. That's something, and some things we had always enjoyed, and it was having people come and visit in our home and enjoy our place here too. I know for years that Carol and I have prayed over our house and our property that it be a place of peace, and it really has, and really a lot of folks have been able to enjoy that, and that's one of the things they always said when they came. They said it's such a peaceful place, and that's the kind of life we want you to have, and that's the kind of life God wants you to have as well. So again, welcome back. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit this morning about unconditional love, love without conditions. And so I'll be talking to you about that this morning. I think it was very appropriate for this time that we're at, and the past few days that have, passed for me here. First of all, I wanted to tell you that we got only about 28 days before the election, so I hope everybody's registered and ready to vote. I hope you've been enjoying some of the Facebook posts I've been talking about. What do you think about, it's the Supreme Court? What do you think about, uh, or how do you treat Israel? I'll be sending out a couple more about abortion and also about the family as well. And so I hope you enjoy those. If you get a chance to look at them, that would be great. They're kind of lengthy, but there's a lot of information there. But first, again, not just first of all, but I want to say thankful to all who have contacted me. I've had probably over 100 some odd people to contact me. You know that Sunday was actually Carolyn's birthday, and so you guys helped me get through that. And I tried not to cry this morning, but I had woke up that morning and I thought within myself, what am I going to do today? Today being Carolyn's birthday. And what I always did on her birthday, I always made sure that I made a breakfast. I mean, that wasn't the only time I ever did, but you knew that was a special time, and I'd always make breakfast for Carolyn on her birthday, and Carolyn wasn't much about having breakfast in bed or something like that, but she enjoyed having breakfast, especially cooked by me, and so that's one thing I enjoy doing. And normally at that time, I would have a gift for her or something for her birthday. Carolyn wasn't really too much on a lot of flowers and things, even though I gave those. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't give those to her, to the one you love, or birthdays or whatever. But I know she wasn't real keen on getting flowers, because she always thought, they won't last very long. And the things that Carolyn liked was things that lasted. And that's what we had in our life, longevity and everything that we did together. And so I got to thinking about that morning. I don't have a gift to give her. And so I didn't know what I was going to do. And I had just had a prompting inside of me that morning. And inside of me, it just spoke out. And I could almost hear Carolyn's voice. She said, "Let's go." And I thought about, one of the things that we enjoyed doing together, and that was going to church. So I did. I got up and went to church. Carol and I enjoyed being with our brothers and sisters and our church family and the body of Christ. And we enjoy so much about giving and singing and praising and giving thanks to God. So that was what was inside of me to do today, the things that Carolyn would like to do in the next few days to continue from that. And I had written that a little bit in the Facebook post, and I want to thank you guys so much for responding back to me and all the kind words you said, and that shows me a lot and tells me a lot. It shows me how much y'all love me, how much you love Carolyn, and how much y'all miss her too. But I can't be sad. I got to thinking about that myself, and I said, I can't be thinking about myself or about my emotions and things like that, because I always put Carolyn first. When I say first, I always put the Lord first in my life, and then Carolyn was first in the things that we did together, and so I didn't want to think about myself and to think about my emotions that day, because I wanted to be in control of my emotions as well, and I'm learning to do that pretty good. And I thank you for the prayers that y'all keep sending my way, and I thank you again for allowing me to come and speak into your life and to express love to you, and talk about love in the times that we live in. And so again, I want to thank you for all the great comments. I even had a sweet lady to call me. She doesn't live here in the Argyle, Denton area anymore. They actually moved off, and her kids really loved Carolyn so much, and so actually they came by and visit with me when Carolyn and I several months back, and I enjoyed taking them on a golf cart ride, and out in around the trails and things like that, and so they really enjoyed that. But I realized how much an impact that Carolyn has made on so many lives. I know the impact that she's made on my life, and I was so excited when this lady texted me back, and she has a son named James, and James said that he knew it was Carolyn's birthday. James was a little boy, and he knew that today was Carolyn's birthday. I'm sure his mom had said something to him or whatever, and he said, I want to do something special for Miss Carolyn today. And she said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to get Miss Carolyn a balloon, and I want to let it go up to her in heaven. I thought that was so sweet. Thank you, James, for taking up Carolyn, and thank you for your family, how much love that you showed us. And I can't express it enough. So, again, thank you so much, so much. So much for that, huh? If I don't get off that, then I'm gonna start tearing up here, and I don't want to do that. But again, thank you guys so much for all the kind words. Like I said, it had hundreds of response to that, and great words of encouragement, and talked about how Carolyn always, called them and encouraged them on their birthdays, and said words of encouragement in their lives and words of strength in their lives. So I'm really excited for Carolyn where she's at. I'm not as excited for myself, but I will be, because the joy of the Lord is my strength. And I know that through joy that that you have love, and where love comes into your life. So this is a day that I had to deal with, but thank God I got through it with Him and with the love and the love of my friends and my family as well. And I thank God for that, and I thank God for you. I thank God this allows me the opportunity to come and talk to you. I can't say each morning, but in several mornings, and to be able to express to you the best I can. And the things I express to you are things that I've lived through, the life that Carol and I lived together through this love walk. And so I want you to know there's no conditions in love. And I wrote something down. I got to be able to talk to you this morning, okay? I wrote some things down, or the things I'd like to say to you, and I wrote this down this morning so I wouldn't forget, because I have so many things to say to you. I said, love is always the top of your list. when you have love, uh, and when love is in your presence, you enjoy joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Always follow and it always follows right behind it is joy. When love is absent, then everything else follows behind it. I probably didn't say that real well, but what I'm saying is that love is the top of the list. But when you start off with joy, then joy brings love, and when you don't have love, then you have the other things that you don't want to have in your life because they're not good for you. Uh, when you enjoy love, or love is in your presence, then you have those. We call them the fruits of the spirit. Again, what I'm saying, there's peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. You know, I've I've learned to train myself to pay close attention to my love walk. And I know I've said that many times to you guys about, how's your love walk going? Are you walking in love? And like I said, I trained myself to pay very close attention to that love in my life and my joy level, because I know they're so synced together. Um, and I'm always immediately uh, brought back to that point, and it's because I've trained myself to do that, and that is the immediate reaction that you should have in walking in love. And when you step out in love, you're not into selfishness. That's what I was saying, that the morning of Carol's birthday, that I was, feeling selfish in myself because I was missing her, and I was dealing with my emotions, and so I had immediately, I can't say then immediately, but I knew immediately that I needed to get control of that, because I didn't want to control that, because I didn't want that to be about me. I wanted it to be about Carolyn. And so the things that I'm talking to you about love, I want that to be about you. I, I and Carolyn have experienced this throughout our life. And so I want you to experience that, and I want you to have that in your life as well. You know, our our world is coming to an end as we know it. We've been dealing with all these situations of going on in the world, and so I want you to understand that one of the visions, or one of the things I saw in 2020 would be great change. And like I said, I didn't know that the change was going to be for me as it is now. But see, my world will never be the same as it was before. And your world is ending too, and it'll never be the same as it was before as well. I had wrote up a friend of mine was going, I think I mentioned this to you once before, was going to a retreat or something, and we had to write words of encouragement to him. And I told him that would be a turning point for her in her life, and that she would be able to have vision and have discernment. So, this is where we're at in the life that we live in. But see, one thing and one turning point is that love never turns. Love is never conditioned. If you understand love and have a revelation of love, there's no conditions. So what I'm saying is, in mine and Carolyn's story, we're about at a point of buying a house and things like that. But my love for Carolyn was not on. It was made up of conditions. If she did this, or she acted this way, or whatever, then I would love her. My love for her was unconditional. And see, that's the same way God's love is for you. If you'll understand that, there's no conditions. In other words, there's not times that He don't love you as much as you are supposed to be loved, because He does. He always loves you to the fullest. And it's not because that you act good or you act bad or whatever. With being with unconditional love, is that there's no conditions that you had to fulfill to be loved, and that's the kind of love life that you want. That if you did something wrong, or you weren't being good that day, or a bad attitude or said the wrong things, or someone came up and said something to you that that it changed the condition of love, which it doesn't. Again, I'm going to repeat that love has no conditions. Love is the understanding the love that I'm talking about, the love of God and the love that you have for one another should not have any conditions, because the conditions will come, situations will come to really test that and see if there is true love, and if it's strong enough to last through this or whatever. But unconditional love doesn't do that way, and that's the way. Like I said, I trained myself to always walk in love. Did I have the opportunities to be unlovely? Yes, and probably in times I did. But as I grew older and things, I learned to immediately to get back into joy. And see, again, talking about unconditional love is that a lot of people said, my happiness, if I'm not happy, then I'm not happy. But I guess what I'm trying to say to you, that being happy is in happenstance. It's things that happen to happen. This, whether you have you're happy or whatever, but joy doesn't and it's not dictated by the happenings around you. So I want you to understand and get into a state of joy, which in state of joy will bring you and show you the love that you're supposed to have. I know I probably fumbled with those words about talking about that, but I want you to understand the joy of the Lord is your strength. The confidence, the resolve of being loved by someone brings you so much confidence. It brings you so much resolve. It brings you so much stability. Really, it's really, really, really a safe place to be, is in that type of love walk, or having that type of love. Remember, I had mentioned to you before that Carolyn was a pretty free woman, in the sense that she wasn't dictated by trying to do certain things to make people happy. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't always strive to do the very best for people, because she did. That was the kind of person she was, and that's the kind of couple we are. Like I said again, we've had people come against us and say things about us. We've had people tell lies on us, and all kinds of things. But we didn't stagger with that very long, that we got back in the place that we'd walk in love, and I always had a forgiving heart toward it. Okay? It might take a few moments or maybe a few days, but the realization that would come to us, and we would always be in a place of forgiving. And then it seemed like once that happened, that everything seemed to clear up very fast. And and I want you to understand that it can be what Carolyn always said, suddenly. It can suddenly change everything if you begin to walk in that type of love, and you walk in that kind of forgiveness. Sometimes it's pretty hard to forgive, the people that we see are trying to hold us up, so to speak. We see these things on TV, and we see these things in Facebook and in the media and all that. The people that are really standing against the liberties, or want to change the liberties of the people of us. We want to go back to what Proverbs said about that when the righteous is in rule, the people rejoice, and when the evil ones, or the ones that are unrighteous, are in authority, the people mourn. We never want to be in a state of mourning, and you don't have to be in a state of mourning. I thought about mourning, not mourning the day of mourning, but actual mourning of maybe felt like it had lost something or whatever. I dealt with that, quite a bit with, Carolyn going on to heaven before me. And so I had to turn that mourning into joy. I had to turn those tears to praise and thanksgiving. And then when I did that, it made me a lot stronger. It made me able to deal with situations better than I would if I would have been in that position. Because a spirit of mourning can come to people, and I'm sure not just because someone has gone to heaven, or someone has gone away, even through divorces, through hurts, and through all kinds of traumas in life. You can have mourning in in your life that really is not good for you, and it becomes the spirit of mourning, and then that's when depression, and that's when anxiety and so much stress and all that happens. See, love comes to settle that and to doctor that and to give medicine to that's not a life that you're supposed to live. So like I said, I thought a lot of times about that, and I wouldn't allow myself to get in that state. Now that I still have my teary moments because I think of all the great things we experienced together, and I think about all the great things that I'm going to be able to experience again when I get to go to heaven to be with Carolyn and my family members that are there. So I want you to understand how important it is to love and to walk in love. I know I'm probably going to wear the corners off of the word love, but I'm still going to speak it to you, drill it into you, show you the best way I can, live it before you the best way I can. And so I want you to get it. I want you to be happy. I want you to have such an outstanding and perfect life here, and you can have it regardless of what situations you face, regardless of what changes that will come. And like I said, our whole world is changing completely because the Lord is coming back real soon. Now, people ask me about that a lot. What date or when do you think the Lord's coming back? I don't think it has so much to deal with a date time, but about assignment time. We all have assignments here in the world, that the earthly world that we live in right now. So I want you to be able to fulfill your assignment. And when we do all fulfill our assignment, the Bible says that the Lord would come back. Jesus Christ would come back when the enemy is made our footstool. Well, the enemy has not been made our footstool yet. And so we have our assignments to deal with. And so I think, again, let me say that I think it's not much on a date, but on assignments. Once we fulfill our assignments, and then things can happen, and then the world will end as we know it, and it's going to change as we know it now. So be ready for that, but also be understanding that you can overcome that as well. Because we're talking about we talk a little bit about assignments. The assignments that we have, and some may not know it, but you got to think about the kind of like the 7 pillars of society, the 7 pillars of things that the world deals with, and I made a list of those, and I'll read those to you so I don't forget what they are. So your assignment may be in media, your assignment may be in education, your assignment may be in government, your assignment may be in economy, your assignment may be in family, or your assignment may be in arts and entertainment, or your assignment may be in religion or ministry. So I guess what I'm saying to you is that you need to find your assignment, and once you find your assignment, then you'll be being and will become more fulfilled in your life. Now, I don't want you to struggle with that. I want you to ask those that are believers, ask the Lord about where they're supposed to be and what their assignment is supposed to be. And those that you don't know the Lord right now, I hope that you will do that. And one of my assignments is economy, and also media, and ministry as well as the family. And so that's why I'm talking to you this morning about the love walk. It's very important. Again, I guess that's one of my favorite words. It's very important. There's a lot of things that are very important, and there's a lot of things we need to know so we can live a full life. Again, like I said, this the time that we live in, we're at the time of the beginning of the kingdom age, and the kingdom age is not just heaven, but we're supposed to have kingdom here on earth as well. And so a lot of times you have to go by, what your name is, and a lot of times it makes a lot of difference in your life. Our name is Rivers, rivers of living water, rivers, many streams, rivers of life. So your name means a lot of things. So I want you to begin to think about your life and your assignment here, and it's very important now, parents, that you start thinking about and praying for your children for their assignment that they will have in life. And so once you do that, then your life becomes more fulfilled. Now, you may not know that until changes come. So changes are okay. Changes are fine. Changes that are for the good are good. Changes for bad are bad, and you don't want those changes. You want to, develop an understanding in a life where you can see which are good changes and which are bad changes. Sometimes you may think changes are bad, and if you think they're bad, like I said, sometimes you think that's that way, and it's not. Sometimes they have to happen to make a full circle for your life, so you can bring you into focus of what you're supposed to be doing. So I didn't really ever think about me being sitting here on my back porch or out on my deck or in my yard or whatever, be able to making videos and talking to you about love. See, that's probably something I would have never done unless a change had come into my life. So I think it's important that you understand that. But I don't want you to be afraid of that. I don't want you to be afraid of all the things that's being said. I don't want you to be afraid of what is being said through the media. They're trying to put fear factor into you, or speak fear into you. Even the deal we're dealing with COVID and a lot of other things, and a lot of lies and things that we hear and through the media and stuff like that. So I want you to get a real perspective of what it's about, that we're going to win. We're going to win in all these areas. As long as God's people's here, as long as the Holy Spirit's here, we're going to win over on this. The United States is a very prominent player, if I may say, a very prominent thing in the world, because I talked about on one of my Facebook deals about how do you view, or how do you look at Israel? See, Israel was a people that God wanted those people to be His people, and which He did, and that's why Israel is the apple of God's eye. See, the people of the United States wanted God, and so that's how our United States was founded, on those beliefs. And as the word comes out of the Bible, and as the saints come out of the Bible, and that's how the United States was founded. And so that's not going to end right now. That's not going to go away, because the world needs the United States. The world needs you. The world needs me. The world needs us to be speaking not only in the United States, but in the world, the goodness of God, and speaking of love. Remember, I told you that God showed me that the third awakening was love, and that's why that I'm saying this and talking to you. That's why a lot of times I'm up in your face about it, because this is what we got to have to live the conquering life. Now we're going to hear all kinds of things, and the enemy's going to try to get into all kinds of areas, and he already has. And I talked about those 7 pillars of society. How the enemy's got into media, government, economy, family, entertainment, and religion. We know that, and we see that. So you will find your assignment, how you're supposed to deal with these certain areas, and how these certain areas in your life need to be looked at. And so I want you to think about that today, some, if you will. Think about what is your place. See, they want to teach us that, and we hear people say it. We're not of this world. We're in this world, but we're not of this world. So what they're trying also to do, some of the religious leaders, and it's been talked for 150 years or more that we're not supposed to get involved in our lives, but we are. We're not supposed to let people dictate and run our lives. And so that's what I'm saying is that people has been taught that I'm not going to get involved in politics. I'm not going to be involved in this and that. You need to be involved because you are involved. And either voluntarily or involuntarily, you're involved. So, I hear what the Lord is saying, that when He created this earth and He put man and woman in this earth, that He told them the very first thing for them to do is have dominion and to increase and multiply. See, we need to come back to our authority that we have. You know, people say, well, the world has been turned over to the authority of the enemy. Yes, that's what happened. But when Jesus came, he brought a change for that. You know, is that the enemy of this life is illegally here. He doesn't have no citizenship here. You do, because you have a birth certificate. You were born in this earth. Now, he wasn't born in this earth, but he's trying and done a pretty good job about taking over. And but again, we need to have dominion in this time we live in. So understanding that with this unconditional love that I'm talking about, you know, is that you can conquer the situations in your life, and you can conquer this life, and you can be an overcomer in everything in your life. That's how Carol and I became overcomers. You know, like I said, I had unconditional love for Carolyn. In other words, what I'm saying is I had a covenant with her. I had made promises to her, and I would keep those promises, regardless if it wasn't seemed to be as good for me, or things weren't happening the way I wanted for them to happen, because I put no conditions on that I was going to love it regardless of what went on. You know, and that's what you have to do in this life. So I want to continue on here more and talk about that. I'll try the second video not to fumble with my words so much, but I'll be talking to you in the second and third video. But again, I always say what Carolyn says: we are eternal, and I will talk to you shortly. Thanks. Talk to you in a minute.